It's a beautiful Monday morning at the gas station, and I just want to shoot this real quick for all of you. $7.09 for super unleaded here at Chevron today. Hopefully you can see that. And this is probably going to go up tomorrow. As I make this video, oil is up over $4 today. Dow Jones up over 800, NASDAQ almost up 300. And what's really shocking and very interesting is the 10-year bond yield is down 20 basis points today, down 40 basis points from the high last week. So what is happening in the bond market? And I've been watching some of the financial shows this morning. Nobody is even talking or hinting why the markets are surging today. On what news? So markets are still open. I'm heading out for a quick workout. Just hit the gas station here. But comment down below, what is going on? Why are we seeing bond yields absolutely hammered? And why are the markets absolutely surging today? I don't know what they'll close at, but apparently I think they're going to close very high. It's just absolutely crazy watching these markets and the volatility. And I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, but what's behind all this? Is this more manipulation? What is going on? And silver today, up almost 9% as I make this video. Gold is up $32 as I make this video. This thing is all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about. It's Monday, October 3rd, 2022. I am back at the house. Markets closed a couple hours ago. So let's talk about what happened today. Dow Jones closed up 765 points, well over 800 earlier today. NASDAQ closed up 239 points. It was hovering around 300 at one point today when I was watching. Markets across the board up. The 10-year, this is where it gets very interesting. The 10-year bond yield right now sitting at 3.65. A few days ago, the 10-year was sitting at 4.05. This is a 40 basis point drop in just a few days. We saw it down 20 or 22 basis points just today. Right now, it's down 16 basis points. So you have to ask yourself, who is buying up all of this debt? And I think you know the answer to it. It is the Fed. And this is a big problem. I think it's very, very dangerous what the Fed is doing. They are buying up this debt, yet on the other side, they are raising interest rates. So when you are manipulating markets and playing both sides, I think it's going to have a very, very bad outcome. And it is really going to continue to affect the middle class, the poor, the economy. And I don't know how we're ever going to be victorious with this fight against inflation if the Fed is buying at one end and raising interest rates at the other. Very, very dangerous. And to me, when you watch the markets today doing what they're doing, huge volatility, Dow Jones up over 800 points at one point today, NASDAQ way up. It's very, very scary to see what they are doing, because this is pure manipulation, buying up this debt. And then, of course, these markets, for whatever reason, have some hope or belief that the Fed is going to pivot very, very soon. And that's another reason why I believe these markets surged today, because there's some hope, and there was some hope over the weekend that the Fed's going to turn around. I don't see it happening. The dollar was down today. Gold, as I make this video, is up $40, sitting at $1,708, $1,708. Silver was up around 9% today, up $1.67, sitting at $20.78. And this is also concerning. I mean, when was the last time you saw gold go up $40 in a day and silver go up nearly 9% in one day? So to me, there is a sector out there that feel that something is wrong, something is scaring them, especially more inflation. So I think we're going to see more investment money, more retail investors without any other choice but to run to gold and silver. Where else do you go right now other than cash? You're going to continue to buy these dips. We'll see what the markets do tomorrow, but I'm not convinced that these markets are just going to turn around. Maybe we see another surge tomorrow, but as I've said in the past, we're going to see lower lows and lower highs. The market's not going to go down every day. We realize that. But why was gold up $40 today? Why was silver up $1.67 today? If there isn't fear out there that things are breaking, that we don't have some big events coming or more inflation coming. Very interesting. A quick little story today. I went to lunch over at Jersey Mike's. And I like Jersey Mike's. If you've ever been to a Jersey Mike's, I've never had a bad sandwich there. Good service, always clean, affordable. And there was a sign on the door, we are accepting cash only. Our system is down. Go in there, they say, hey, just to let you know, we can only do this transaction with cash, no plastic. No problem, I carry cash. But it's another reminder of how fragile the system is and how quickly things can just break and not work, and why I believe it's very important to have cash right now with what is happening geopolitically around the world, and we are losing a lot of our friends. It is a matter of time before we see some type of event take place as a cyber attack or grids being attacked and going down. And the average person really has no access to cash. They can't even get cash out of their banks. So they carry plastic, ATM cards, credit cards. They're going to be in big trouble if some big event takes place and they cannot purchase items such as food and other essentials with plastic. What are you going to do? So make sure you have cash on hand. The hedge today, pivot dreams spark panic bid as Lehman Swiss forgotten. Credit Suisse, we heard about it over the weekend, that this whole thing was capitulating, was going to collapse. Watch out for Monday. They're in big trouble. And nothing happened today, apparently. Not even really a word. I did not have a lot of time today to watch these financial shows. But what I did get to watch, there was not a peep, not a word about Credit Suisse and their problems. Another one from the hedge. Markets are betting on a Fed pivot again. Is this why we saw the markets surge today? Remember, what was it, last Wednesday when the market was up about 552 points on this hopeism with what the Bank of England did, bailing out pensions and homeowners with adjustable rates and the trillions of dollars that they just did in that bailout, giving hope to America that the Fed is going to do the same thing that the Bank of England did, and that is to lower rates and start up the printing presses. I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, then you're going to watch gold and silver go to the moon, and you're going to see, I believe, a hyperinflation event take place in America. But getting back to this article, markets are betting on a Fed pivot. The market now is expecting a rate cut. It says here in the first quarter of 2023. Stocks soared today. Bond yields plummeted as trades dial back expectations for Fed tightening. Again, betting on a rate cut arriving as soon as the first quarter. It says here, May 2023. They risk being disappointed. These traders risk being disappointed. I'm believing more and more every day that this is all being done intentionally, that this is a controlled demolition of these markets. And if you believe that, then you know that they're not going to pivot. They are going to get even more aggressive. Somebody here is going to be right. Somebody here will be wrong. But it doesn't matter to me if I'm right or wrong, because If I'm wrong, I'm sitting on a lot of cash, a lot of gold, a lot of silver. And if I'm right, I'm sitting on a lot of cash, a lot of gold, a lot of silver. So either way, we are going to get a collapsing economy, or we're going to get a collapsing economy with hyperinflation. So pick your poison. I think you need to be very, very prepared for either one of these events, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I say you should hold precious metals and you should be holding cash, because if cash gets slammed, guess what's going to happen to precious metals? If the metals get slammed, guess what's going to happen to the dollar? Now, there was an article that I was reading today on usbanklocations.com. And it was a graph of probably at least 1,000 banks. And it gave the amount of derivatives that these banks are holding. And we've heard nothing lately about the derivative market, how dangerous, how fragile the derivative market is. It is a ticking time bomb. People have no idea how much money is sitting in the derivative market. And for years, really a couple years ago, we really started hearing about the derivative market and how risky it was and how threatening it was to economies, the global economy, and how much money is sitting in the derivative market. But I'm not going to go through all the banks, but just a few of the banks here, some of the big boys here. JP Morgan holds $57 trillion in derivatives. Goldman Sachs holds $49 trillion in derivatives. Citibank, $45 trillion. Bank of America, $22 trillion in derivatives. Wells Fargo holding $11 trillion in derivatives. Again, a ticking time bomb. I would be very cautious if I had all my money and all my assets in a bank, such as a safe deposit box. If you're holding a lot of money in a savings account, be very, very cautious. You really need to be paying attention to what is happening to the banks, to the economy, to the derivative market, to the stock market, everything. I've watched videos, and there are people out there saying, get your money out of the banks. I've said this for years. Don't keep all your money in the bank. Be your own central bank. Have your money in multiple locations if you can. If you're forced to keep your money in the bank for whatever reason, keep it in multiple banks. But if you're not forced to keep your money in the bank, then you need to find alternative locations, in my humble opinion. So there are a lot of people out there that understand the risk of banks. There's also people out there that will say, well, if you have too much money, like $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, well, that would be foolish to keep it at home or out of the bank. But yet these same people talk about the banks imploding, how risky the banks are, how criminal the banks are. Yet they tell you just to keep a few $100s at home, but keep the other $100,000 in the bank. The banks that we don't trust, the banks that these same people call criminal entities, the same banks that they say are imploding and are going to collapse and who are thieves. Well, why would you keep $100,000 in a bank and keep a few $100s at home? So to me, the $100,000 is way more at risk sitting in a bank than a few $100s sitting in your home. If you don't believe in the banking system, if you believe it is corrupt, if you believe it's a criminal institution, if you believe it has the potential of collapsing, if you believe that they have the ability to lock you out, seize your money, shut down your accounts electronically, or shut the doors physically, why would you keep all your money in the bank? Why would you keep a majority of your money in the bank? These people have it backwards. Keep the minimum amount. Keep the money to pay your bills in those accounts. Keep the majority somewhere else. Your money, honestly, in my opinion, is safer at your house than it is in a bank. All it takes is a press of a button, the lock of a door, and you are not going to gain access to your cash. So be very, very careful, ladies and gentlemen. American energy bill soar this winter. This on the Hedge today. America right now is sending a lot of natural gas over to Europe. So we are going to pay the price here to send Europe natural gas. And on top of that, we're using up our petroleum reserves for gasoline here. So we're sending over our natural gas to Europe. We're using our petroleum reserves, our strategic reserves that we've depleted over 40% at this point. we are really becoming a weak nation, and we're going to flip the bill. The taxpayer is going to flip the bill to replenish those reserves if we do. And how far are they going to take those petroleum reserves down to? We're already approaching 50%. Natural gas. Why are we paying a higher price now in order to send gas over to Europe? It's terrible what's happening around the world, but the American taxpayer is being absolutely strangled. We're sending billions of dollars over to Eastern Europe. We're sending over natural gas now to Europe. We're destroying our petroleum reserves, which in return is jeopardizing our national security while we're paying for all of this. It's a complete disaster, ladies and gentlemen. Fox Business, U.S. home prices drop at fastest pace since 2009. Median home prices fell 0.98% in August from a month earlier, following a 1.05% drop in July. Together, this represents 2 straight months of significant pullback. This is another indicator of what is about to happen in the housing market. The 30-year national average for a mortgage sitting at 7.06 today. That's up 47 basis points from last week. Incredible. It really, we are witnessing some incredible times. And the volatility in these markets is unlike anything anybody has ever seen before. It is unbelievable what we are watching. There's another article that I want to finish with. Violent, unprovoked attacks have New Yorkers on edge. There is something profoundly wrong. I sit and make these videos daily, and there's people out there that say that I don't smile enough, I don't laugh, I'm not this, I'm that, people will accuse me of this and that, and let me say something here. When I watch the news and I see the crime that is taking place here in America, I've never seen anything like this. I remember growing up as a kid, there was always crime, there always will be, but just some of the cruel, violent types of crime that we're seeing now is at a whole nother level. When I was growing up, we never saw anything like this. Women being beaten in subways, people just being attacked for no reason, people just being beaten by groups of people for no reason. It's like entertainment. And when I make these videos, again, people say I don't laugh, I don't joke around, and I don't, because I take 20 or 30 minutes and I dedicate it. Because when I dedicate this time, make these videos, it is so extremely important. The message, the data, what's happening, there's nothing funny about it. I'm really concerned about what is happening to this great country. I'm concerned about what's happening to the taxpayer. I'm concerned about what's happening to the average American. Concerned about what's happening to your kids. They can't even go out and play by themselves today. When we used to ride around on bicycles and stay out till the sun went down, nobody was worried. Now, you can't let your kids go out and ride their bikes. You have to keep an eye on them. Even the little puppy, the little Frenchie I have, these things get stolen like crazy. And let me tell you, that dog has a armed security task force 24 hours a day. Nothing will ever happen to that dog. I promise you that. But it's sad that I can't leave the dog out on the patio by herself. I have to be armed when I have her out. It's just the reality of life today. And there are people out there that don't understand the importance of walking the walk and being the real deal and really investing in your skill set, really critically thinking for yourselves, exercising situational awareness, and understanding that, things can happen in a split second. And there are a lot of people out there that do talk a very, very big game. And when I look at these people, I don't think they've ever been in a fight in their life. I don't think they could fight themselves out of a wet paper bag. But yet they talk like big tough guys. You know, in the videos, they have all the answers. And with the amount of crime that is taking place, let me tell you, where I live in Southern California, it is really soaring. And I live in a pretty nice area, but I'm not that far from LA. We're not that far from Coachella, where we have a lot of cartel, a lot of gangs here in the desert. And if you are not walking the walk, if you are not beginning to prepare, or if you are not investing in your skill set, in your tactics, if you do not know how to operate your tools, you could be a victim of this very, very quickly. And unfortunately, some of these people who have all the answers and talk the big game, I hope you do not become a victim of this surge in crime that we're seeing across America. I really hope that nothing bad happens to you. I don't want to see anybody hurt. I don't want to see anybody affected by, I mean, think about like when these people, when they're knocked down with the knockout game and their heads hit the concrete and they're vegetables, okay, they're vegetables or they're dead, how it affects their families. They have kids or they have parents and how this affects them. You really now have got to be getting real, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be taking this seriously. Your cell phone is going to be useless. The cameras that you have around your house will be useless, because if your cameras are breached, if your front door is breached or your patio sliding glass door is breached, what are you going to do? So we're going to find out who's real, who's not, who's walking the walk, who's not, because this stuff is coming to your neighborhood, whether you want to believe that or not. When I see what's happening in some of the nicest neighborhoods in LA, like Manhattan Beach, Beverly Hills, Bel Air, etc., and the amount of crime, the home invasions, the assaults, the follow home robberies, this is coming to a town near you. And I pray to God that you're aware of this and that you are preparing. And you know, all the people out there, all the tough guys who talk the big game and have all the answers, yet they have no preparations whatsoever, no training, no skill sets. I feel sorry for you. I really do. I'm going to tell you right now, I walk the walk. I walk the walk. That's why I train daily, whether it's at the gym, on the mat, on the range, whatever it might be. I'm going to cover my bases every which way possible. On top of that, gold, silver, cash, and most of all, walking extremely close to God, which I advise every one of you to do. God bless all of you. Thank God for another day of life. Thank you for taking a few minutes and watching this video. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please give it a thumbs up, share this video, and subscribe. And I look forward to speaking with every one of you very, very soon.